BMW N54 engine. One of the best and one of the worst engine BMW ever produced.
The N54 has won 6 straight International Engine of the Year awards. The BMW N54 is a twin turbocharged straight-six engine. It is a BMW first mass-produced turbocharged petrol engine and BMW's first turbocharged petrol engine since the limited production of BMW M106. BMW M106 was discontinued in 1986. There is no M version of the N54, however a high output version in the 1 Series M Coupe, or in BMW community is known as IS version.
One of the most interesting things that the N54 was installed on pretty much every single BMW that BMW was producing from 2006 all the way to 2016. 2016 it's one car. This is actually the BMW Z4 E89 from 2009 all the way to 2016.
But there's more. The 3 Series, 991, 993, 5 Series, 60, 61, E82, E86, E89, E71, and 7 Series, and Alpina.
Alpina? Yes, the Alpina had high output version of this engine and it was amazing. High output? Vodka. Это не моё. Starting with N54 B30. So we had not one version of this engine, but 3. N54 B30 had 302, 322, and 335 brake horsepower. These 3 engines was installed on pretty much every single car, including the Z4,
X5, 5 Series, 3 Series, 1 Series.
We took forever in terms of the dates and what was produced, so I'm gonna include the data on the screen. You can check it out for yourself. It's really interesting. 2006, 2010. Okay, I told you I'm not gonna be talking about it. Also, we have Alpina version of this engine of N54, which was insanely powerful. It was also 3 version of this engine. It was 355, 394, and 402 brake horsepower, which is crazy. Okay, get into why did I say this is one of the worst engines that BMW was producing. Besides being an amazing engine, this is huge failure in terms of maintenance. First one is the high pressure fuel pump, which has had extended warranty of 120,000 miles and 10 years. If your car not getting into that range, which is most likely you're not lucky with replacing the $700 part, or 500 or 300 or 150, depends what you can find. Really easy to replace it. You can check the link in the description below for the video. It shows the codes, how to replace it or how to do it and how to get to it. Then the next component also from the fuel line, and especially the high pressure one, which is the injectors. The piezo injectors, which they call in the high pressure fuel injectors, I guess, and connected directly to the fuel pump, the high pressure fuel pump. They advance, they expensive, and they goes bad pretty often. The issue, as we know, the leaky injectors, because if it's pretty bad, you can get your engine hydrolocked. Usually we have bad start, bad crank, long crank, RPM can juggle sometimes, smell of the gasoline from the exhaust, and overall it's not cool. Yeah, it's not cool. It's definitely not cool. Kind of good thing, BMW extended warranty is 120,000 miles or 10 years. Each of the injector costs almost $200. The Index 12 injectors are latest and greatest, and they are, I wouldn't say they're not going down easily, but they have less of a chance that they're gonna break. I don't know what BMW did to it, but they have multiple, like several revisions of those injectors, and also those injectors, direct injector, jet injector, they was installed on many cars. The M cars, 3 Series, 5 Series, N54, basically all of the turbocharged engines. Electric coolant pump, which is another piece that cost insane amount of money. Same as high pressure fuel pump and injectors. This is the failure point, which is less, 40 to 60,000 miles. In some cases, okay, same as high pressure fuel pump, it can last up to 180,000 miles, for example. Yes, there is a chance you're not gonna have any problems, but N54 is pain in head. If you're not seeking for high power, high output of that N54 engine, and you doesn't really care in terms of tuning those cars, basically in terms of the engine, I would highly suggest you to go with N52. But you see, that's the only recalls or whatever BMW use it for extended warranty, and those three components are not the worst thing that could happen to your car, except the electric fuel pump. If that's failing and you're not getting kind of off the highway right away, that could cause a lot of troubles. Basically, the engine gonna show you the engine light and blah blah blah, but that's still kind of cheap to replace. What is not cheap, it's a wastegate rattle and turbos itself. 3,000 or 3,200 to do it at the shop. You can go with the Chinese turbos, you can do it yourself, which is gonna take you somewhere from 15 all the way to 25 hours, depends on how fast and how good you are with the cars, because you need to basically remove the engine of the car. What else we could talk about? That's the oil leaks. This car leaking from every single spot that have gasket. Even if it doesn't have gasket, it's still leaking. Gaskets are something that the BMW perfected. Basically, if you have BMW without oil leaks, that's not a BMW, believe it or not. So, oil pan gasket, let's keep that one. It's leaking, whatever, forget about it, because it's gonna cost you like $800 or to $1,000 to fix the oil pan gasket. The next one is valve cover gasket, which is every 60,000 miles you gotta replace it, or if you're driving in a hot climate as Florida, it also go down relatively fast. Oil filter housing, some components that have O-rings, all of the vacuum system that has O-rings also start failing, start leaking vacuum. All of the housing and basically coolant lines start breaking apart. Why is that happening? The reason for it, the engine have such a eco mode. Engine becomes more efficient in terms of bumping the engine temperature all the way to 108 degrees Celsius. Regular engines have 92 to 98 degrees the breaking point, like never going higher than 100 degrees Celsius, and this engine is exception, or BMW is exception. Pretty much every single BMW of that generation have the same problem, or it's not a quite problem. That's why they install the electric coolant pump in the first place, to have that variable speed and increasing that the coolant flow, same as electric actuated thermostat. And as a side effect, all the housing, all of the lines are start cracking because engine bay accumulating a lot of temps, and that's the failure point for gaskets, belts, wiring, for harness. All of those lines, even if they've been designed and built especially for that purpose, like being in the heat. So if you're not obsessed with N54 engine, and if you're not planning on tuning the engine, just go ahead and buy yourself N52 engine. It has same problems, but it doesn't have turbos, doesn't have high pressure output. Only failing point, it's electric fuel pump, same as, oh my god, the oil leaks. Oh, I totally forgot about the rear main seal. The front main seal or the crankcase seal is okay. I never seen they leaking. $1,200 to replace only one seal. So you need to remove the transmission, replace the seal. It's a pain in the ass, you know, you're not gonna do that by itself on a driveway or in the parking lot, which is not ideal. So decide for yourself, guys, if you think that the N54 engine worth to have it, and if they're worth your time, spendings, money, and then the headache that every single morning you start the engine and you think, I hope I'm gonna get to work. And you know, from home to work is only 20 miles, but what can you do? You love that engine, you are obsessed with the power those cars can produce or capable for, and you just can't handle yourself. You're just buying another N54 and another N54 and another one. I had 5 N54 powered BMWs, and I still want to get another one. This one in particular is ready for sale, and I think it's gonna be gone tomorrow. That's gonna be the last video of that BMW Z4. Anyway guys, I hope you did like the video, and let me know why do you want to keep or drive the 335 or 35 powered BMW. But you know what, it's an old car, what can you get from it? I still love it. I'm still gonna buy another one. Oh, totally forgot. Subscribe, please. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of things coming in the future. New cars, buying, selling, replacing, rebuilding, tuning, who knows what.